Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing well. In this short lesson, I'm going to teach you those three parts and then how you can play a solo over the top. Let's go straight into the bass line. It goes like this. Very simple 2-bar pattern. We have E to F, G, E, and then G, A, A. I'm playing everything in first position. You could play the A on the 5th fret of the E string if you want. I'm choosing not to. Now, if you play it open, you need to stop the A with your fingers before you start playing the next E again. I'm just coming down at the same time that I'm playing the next E. The second bar contains the same notes with a slightly different rhythm. We're going about 80 beats per minute here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the bass line. Now, I recorded each individual part into Logic before. You could also use a looper pedal. If you can't do either of those things, then just treat each of these parts individually and you can learn each as their own thing. The chords I played on my Tobias 6 string, and one of the chords is almost impossible to play on this 78p bass. So if you do want to play the chords, download the tab, it's free, there's a link below. But I'll show you the easy version as well. But look, this is how it goes. It's E minor, F, G, and this is the chord I can't get, just about, but I can't really do that up to speed. So what I would probably recommend that you do is that you play the chord as written and ignore the note on the A string. So first let me show you the full version if you like. This is a chord, it's not really very often played like this on a bass, but we have frets 12 and 14. And then I'm using the same first finger to bar down on the 12th fret of the G string. And I'm using my thumb, index and middle fingers to play the E, A and Gs. And that's called a free stroke, where you pluck and you come away from the body. You can use different fingers as well to arpeggiate the chord. So that's a minor chord, that shape there. That's the same one we would use up here. If you get buzzers or something like that, it's probably because you want to be a little closer to the 12th fret in this case. It takes a bit of strength as well. So, you know, I would recommend you probably do the easy version of missing out that A string. Let me show you the major version. We just go up 1 fret. And this time, instead of barring, it's just the second finger playing the next fret from wherever your root is. So we've got frets 13, 15, and then 14 here. And that's 2 shapes to learn, because now you just shift across 2 frets. There's your G. Using the same fingers at all times on my plucking hand. That's the one I can't use the same shape there. That's why I would recommend doing this. Ignore the note on the A string, and that's the 5th of the chord. Okay, it does sound good with it in, but if we ignore it, we have something much more manageable. I'll think about how I would play this with the fingers in a minute, because I sometimes change, but now you would just do this. For the minor version, you're playing the E and the G strings, and they're on the same fret. Really easy to learn that. So when you go to A minor, it's the same. And with the F, it's just 1 fret higher. That would be one way to do it. I suppose you could, well, that's second finger, third finger there. Let's have a little look at that. maybe just do that. Don't bother with trying to play this in time if this is sort of new to you. Just, you know. With chords on guitar, it's very much about keeping a hand position and moving around. With bass, it's very similar, but like I say, you're not going to be doing this that much in sessions or in rehearsals or gigs, but it's fun to do. You can use fingers 2 and 3 for the minor, and then 2 and 4 for the major. And that would be it up to speed. Next we have the melodic hook, and actually I was writing this lesson last night, and the lesson was just going to be this. It was just going to be that, and then I realized that the bottom note of these little patterns, if you put it down the octave, is a bass line, and then if that's a root note each time, you can play a chord over it. More of that in a minute, but let's have a look at the pattern. I'm just using the 2 strings. It's as if I just have a 2-string bass, D and G. And we have E, B, C. Very good for the stretch, very good for the working out of the different fingers. So first finger, third finger, fourth finger. Then go to F. And now it's a slightly bigger shift here. We're going from the 3rd fret, D string, that F, then 2nd finger, 4th finger, frets 5 to 7 of the G string. This, the first one, is in 1 finger per fret, and here we have extended, where you have to have the first finger just out of that 4-finger span. It's a good thing to get used to. Then when you go to the G on the 5th fret, it's actually the same pattern as there. And I'm playing the A, the final A, with the 2nd finger. So very slowly I'll go through it. Fingers 1, 3, 4. Then fingers 1, 2, 4. So that's on the E and then the F, and then on the G, 1, 2, 4 again. Shift. I find this kind of thing really good to get your touch together. Now there, I just got a bit of a buzz there, and that's what happens in practice. Like, as I'm teaching you, I'm actually practicing as well. So it's about being precise. It's about getting your finger in the correct place, you know, right up against that fret. Otherwise you get a buzz. That's not that fast, but you can speed up just to get things moving a bit. Let me explain a little bit around the key of this, because this is in A minor. That's absolutely essential to know if you want to make up a solo, which we do. We'll just go into that in this final section. I'll just press mute here and just do something. You need to know what notes to play. Now, just a quick one. I have a music theory course that goes into scales in all positions, all over the neck. Major scales, minor scales, harmonic minor, modes, you name it, it's in that course. As well as rhythms and harmonizing scales, how to jam in different styles, all kinds of things. If you're interested in that and really, really getting to grips with music theory and how it works on bass, I'll put a link below. I've also got other courses, blues, funk, and so on. But what I'm in here is A minor. And you need to know these shapes in different positions of the bass. You don't want to be restricted to that one area that you know. You want to be all over the place, right? So let me give you that shape. So I'm starting with my little finger on the A on the 12th fret of the A string. And then I'm staying in one position and going up the scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E. let's just play with those notes. I'll use some repetition, some slides and techniques, and some space. I'll use some space. I had to move. I felt like it when I was going there. And that's what I mean. You need to, that's A again. So you start the scale there. It's absolutely crucial to know your fretboard in all different parts. So once you have pieced together 3 different parts, you can try recording it into a looper pedal or use something like Logic to layer it up. And then you can, you could even practice just scales. And it just makes doing that slightly more bearable. But then when you craft that scale into a solo, it sounds really musical. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson. As I said, I'll put a link down below so that you can download the PDF for free and you can check out that theory course and all those other ones as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next lesson.